Hello, I'm Frank Buckholz, North Langley Community Director for the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce. We are doing a series of videos with candidates in the two Langley ridings for the federal election. With me is Caelum Nutbrown. Caelum is the Green Party candidate with the Cloverdale Langley City riding. And welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you've decided to run for office in this election.
So I recently completed my diploma in social services at the University of the Fraser Valley out in Abbotsford, and I work in the downtown east side as a mental health worker working in the opioid crisis there. So I've seen how social services and properly funded social services have been able to help out that community and give people dignity back into their lives. And that's something that I want to bring to the Cloverdale Langley City area, is a focus on strong social programs that support the community, that will allow us to be able to address the coming climate crisis that we're going to be facing in the coming decade. So going back now to December is when I originally got started in climate activism. And I was going downtown and participating in the Friday for Future movement, which was started by Greta Thunberg. And essentially what happened from there is that I ended up getting involved politically as a result, and realized that with how much time we have left to act on the climate crisis, that I needed to put my hat in the race and try and make a difference for my community and my country.
Thank you. We have three questions we're asking all the candidates, three subject areas, and then a final quick question on the subject I know you'll definitely have an opinion on. The first one is on the business climate and small business. We're a business organization. We represent many businesses in Langley. Most of them are small businesses, and one of the big concerns that we hear from members over and over as to our provincial and national bodies is the tax load on businesses. What is the Green Party going to do to make the atmosphere such that small business can thrive?
So with the Green Party of Canada, we don't believe that we should be putting the onus of taxes onto the middle class, and especially small businesses as well. Especially when we're giving transnational corporations a pass in our economy, and by that I mean paying lower taxes, getting tax loopholes, these types of things that people call corporate welfare that aren't able to be accessed by small businesses. And so our goal with the Greens is to bring in, to end subsidies for fossil fuels, to make corporations pay their fair share, so getting rid of tax loopholes, tax havens, so that we have proper revenue sources coming in, so then we can keep taxes lower on small businesses and provide benefits to them to grow our small businesses. We don't want transnational corporations coming in and taking up the marketplace for what could be a small business that could thrive here in Canada.
Okay. Another question that we have, would like the candidates to address is the issue of housing. And housing for the younger generation, for your generation, is becoming a much more challenging situation than for my generation, when it was relatively easy to buy a house. Now it's very hard.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a number of programs the federal government has announced. They've boosted the amount that you can be eligible for, where the CMHC will put a mortgage on it, or equity interest, pardon me. And they've announced a national housing strategy. What things, in your opinion, would work to really improve the housing situation, particularly in Langley and Metro Vancouver?
We need more social funding for affordable housing. And by that I mean that we need to bring back incentives for developers to build affordable rental housing that is going to help the community out. And this extends as well to providing people who are homeless in the community as well the opportunity to be able to get into places that are affordable for them. And a lot of these people that I work with in the downtown east side don't have access to these types of services. And for myself, being a young adult, it's a growing concern for a lot of us young men, family, women growing up and trying to be able to afford a place to live. As the Green Party, we want to make sure that we're bringing in those incentives for developers so that we're focusing on addressing the affordable housing crisis, because it should be a right that everyone has a shelter in Canada.
Third question we have is on the issue of transportation, and the Surrey SkyTrain project is slated to come to Langley City. At this point in time, there's not enough money to build it further than Fleetwood. Would you support the federal government making a major contribution so that that line to Langley City can be completed as soon as possible?
Correct, yeah. I would be supporting an initiative like that, especially with everything that a lot of my ideas around politics is shaped by the roughly 10 to 12 years that we have with the IPCC panel that was talking about climate change and the changes that we need to make. And one of the biggest changes we can do is helping out with infrastructure on transportation. And so any projects that are involved in helping people get from one place to another, I'm 100% for.
And following up on that, and especially because you have mentioned fossil fuels, the Chamber has also for a long time had concerns about congestion on Highway 1, particularly from Langley East. What do you see can be done to assist that? And is that a project that shouldn't proceed because of fossil fuels, or is there other ways that we can deal with that congestion?
You're talking about going east to west, right?
Yeah, east of 200th, basically.
I do that drive like just about every day. So I think that Greens have a bold plan to phase out fossil fuel cars in 10 years, right? And so obviously there'll still be vehicles on the road using that. So we do still need to invest in our infrastructure. But the problem is that we need to step away from those as the main source of transportation, and we need to get infrastructure for public transportation that is effective and helps people get to the places that they're going to regularly and consistently, and that requires more funding. To meet these types of goals that are required for the degree of the challenges that will be faced in the next 10 years takes bold ideas and bold visions for this. But I believe that we have the resources in this wealthy country to be able to put forth infrastructure, whether that's on roads, especially here in Langley, right, or in Surrey, or increasing our transportation and how we get people around, especially poorer people that use transportation more than more well-off individuals.
And our final question, the topic the Green Party has been very vocal on is the Trans Mountain Oil Pipeline. We're asking each of the candidates if they favor it, yes or no, but you're certainly welcome to expand on that in a couple of sentences. So.
For sure. So I support the Trans Mountain Pipeline in the sense that I support that it gives working Canadians jobs and the ability to provide for their family. What I'm deeply concerned about is what do we do in 10 years when we have to abandon these pipelines and we have to transition our economy into a green economy, and no one's talking about what are we doing to help workers in this energy sector that needs to be phased out. So it's great that we bought the pipeline already. It sounds like Justin Trudeau has already started construction and wants to put it through. So what are we going to do to protect those workers after that industry fades out? And the Green Party of Canada is the only party that has a policy towards a universal basic income, which would be to eliminating poverty and not allowing individuals that, say, lose their jobs or for whatever reason the sector changes and they can't get employed there, right, those kind of things, give them the ability to not go into poverty to provide for their family.
Thank you very much, Caelum.
Thank you.